Shalom. This is Ron Warren with the Nuggets of the Torah. And this week's teaching is the 6th parsha of Exodus and the 18th parsha of the Torah itself, and it's called Mishpatim. This parsha, Mishpatim, is one of the longest of the 54 parshas in the Torah itself. It contains 53 separate life instructions. 23 are positive and 30 are negative. These life instructions explain how God thinks. But before we go there, answer this question. What is the value of a word? Let's take a look at a verse in two contexts. In Exodus chapter 21, verse 1, with the Stone's addition, it reads, "And these are the ordinances that you shall place before them." Now, from the King James Version, it reads, "Now these are the judgments which thou shalt set before them." In the King James Version of the Bible, the first word of this parsha is now. In Hebrew, the first word is an. What's the difference, and why is it important? Whenever it is written in the Torah, the words "now these" or the word "now," it means that the nullification of the subject that appeared before it, and it starts a new discussion. However, it is written "and these." Then the intention is to add what appeared beforehand. What happened beforehand? Moses was on Sinai and received the Ten Commandments. Just as the Ten Commandments came down from Sinai, so did the judgments and statutes. If you believe, as Calvin, that the Torah is divided between the ceremonial and the moral laws, the words "now these" or the word "these" set in motion the thought that these laws did not come from Sinai, but were added later as a human-designed legal system. As a matter of fact, a version of the Code of Hammurabi existed at this same time. This is why the Torah says that just as the first group of laws, which was the Ten Commandments, came from Sinai, so also these monetary and civil laws, which appear totally rational under a man-made system, are also from Sinai. Now, according to Isaiah chapter 49, verse 15, God says, "Can a mother forget her baby at her breast and have no compassion on the child she has borne? Though she may forget, I will not forget you." God did not establish a contract with Israel or with the body of the Messiah. He created a covenant. There's a great difference. Contracts are broken when one of the parties fails to keep the promise. However, one member's failure does not destroy the relationship. A covenant puts no conditions on faithfulness. It's an unconditional commitment to love and serve. In Exodus chapter 24, verses 1 and 2, it reads, "And he said to Moses, Go up to the God, and thou and Aaron and Nadab and Abihu and 70 of the elders of Israel, and worship afar off. And let Moses alone come near God, but they shall not come near, neither shall the people go up with them." Mount Sinai is seen as the model of the tabernacle and the temple. There are three distinct zones in our story. One is the foot of the mountain, the other one is an immediate ascent upon the mountain, and then there's the top of the mountain where the glory of God resides, covered by a thick cloud. Now the people remained at the foot of the mountain, while representatives of the people ascended to the intermediate area, and Moses alone continued up to the top of the mountain, where he alone speaks with God. These three zones correspond to the courtyard of the tabernacle where the people came, to the holy place where the representatives of the people, the priests, served, and went in the most holy place, which is the Holy of Holies, where only the high priest was allowed to enter once a year. It was at the most holy place, which is the Holy of Holies, like the top of the mountain, where the glory of God dwelt in the cherubim on the Ark of the Covenant. An objection to Yeshua's teaching is that Jews don't need Yeshua because they don't need a mediator between themselves and God. This verse refutes that claim with a reminder that Moses himself became the mediator as well as the priests and the prophets. The initial enactment of the covenant also made a pattern for the tabernacle. Why is this important? Because the theology of the emerging Christian church often places the giving of the law as opposed to grace, just as the opposite. This is just the opposite of that case. This is probably Paul's point in his most often misunderstood words of Galatians chapter 3, verse 19. It reads this: Why the Torah then? It was added because of transgressions, having been ordained to angels by the agency of a mediator until the seed would come to whom the promise has been made. The words, because of transgressions, have been misunderstood to mean to punish transgressors. This is not only short-sighted, but misses the thrust of Paul's argument. The covenant was given in order to contain and limit transactions. Another argument says that unless we are able to fully obey the Torah, we simply reject it. But that ability to be perfect in obedience is not the prerequisite of a desire to be obedient. Think about this. What would you do if your children were to inform you that that really could not obey your authority and rules because they realized they would never be perfectly obey you? What a father wants to hear is not a report of ability or inability, but a genuine expression of desire to be obedient. The blood ratifies the covenants. Just as the children of Israel were washed in the blood of animals, we are washed in the blood of the only perfect sacrifice, the blood of Yeshua the Messiah. This is what allows us to continue our sanctification process of becoming more and more like the Messiah in our daily walk. If you choose to draw near, the perfect sacrifice has been given. And with this in mind, answer these questions. Scripturally, how can a renewed covenant believer apply the blood of the Messiah on their life or another person's life if they reject the Torah as no longer being applied? Without the Torah, where's your proof text? Shalom. Until next week with the next episode of the Nuggets of the Torah.